All right, so before I just go hacking these body mounts off and attempting to weld them back on without any other reference point, I figured I would set an angle gauge on the frame, which I cleared a spot off on this side. There's a spot I cleared off on that side. I'm just setting the angle gauge up there and zeroing it, and then setting it out here on the edge of the body mount. And that'll kind of give me a reference to when I go weld them back on. As long as it's close to that, it should be fine. I went and did that for each one. The only one that's zero is that one over there, but as long as they read the same once I weld them back on there, should be good, right? Hoping so. Looking at the welds on these deals, and there's not really gonna be any fun way of doing it. I'm gonna try to save as much as I can, as much material on like the back side of it as I can. So when I go to weld them back on, they're not hard to get centered over the height reference. Try to do it with a cutoff wheel. I was thinking about using the plasma cutter, but oftentimes when I use the plasma, it takes too much material away and it's kind of hard to control. Unlike a cutoff wheel, you can, it's a small cut and you can guide it like right where you want it to cut. Maybe break out the Sawzall, but even then, that tends to get out of hand sometimes and not go right where you want it to cut. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get these cleaned up and get to cutting them off. So these rear ones look like the easiest ones. Easy to get to the welds to cut them. So I think I'm gonna start there. Got them all measured, 3 inches. So yeah, get to it. All right, I got the back one off. Wasn't too bad really. Can definitely be cleaned up. Where I cut into the frame, I can just add some weld in there, smooth it back out. Same with this. It's a little bit easier than I thought, really. I thought I was gonna be in there forever. All right, I got all the cut marks welded in and ground smooth. I hit it with some weld through primer just to get some type of coating on the back side. Also cut off this hanger right here, same deal, welded up the cut marks, smoothed it out. Body mount is all smoothed out. I kind of got into it a little bit there, but it's still flat out here, so you'll never even see that. It won't affect anything. Hit it with some weld through primer too. And I also cut a substantial amount off the bottom because it was hanging down past the bottom of the frame. Waiting on this weld through primer to dry, and I'll get it slapped up there. Hold it up there with some magnets, get my angle right, and then I will slowly tack it so it doesn't warp. All right, so I got it dropped down 3 inches. Got her tacked on the sides. You can see, got this deal zeroed. And then this body mount was 0. Set that up there. And ta-da. Hopefully I can weld this slow enough so that it doesn't warp. But yeah, just take my time, and got my air gun up there. Might blow it off a little bit too, try to cool it down to prevent the warpage. Got it welded on there. Those welds look pretty good. Had some undercoating right there that when I blew the air on, it blew it all over the weld. It was hot and melted it, but yeah, man, looks pretty good. I sat the angle gauge on there, still reading 0. So keep on moving down the line. Man, I've been out here grinding. Literally. My face is probably black too. I can feel it around my nose. But I got all 6 of the body mounts dropped down. A little better welds on some of them than others. This one up here, I ground off a little bit too much of the like the original weld, and it wouldn't center in this hole, so I had to add a plate back behind it and moved it out a little bit to get it centered. And I was like smoothing all this stuff out, welding it and smoothing it out, and then I remembered that's gonna all get cut off. The top of the frame will get cut off. Decided not to waste my time on that. I will get the 2x4 welded inside the frame, get the top of the frame chopped off, and then I'll go back and kind of see where the ugly spots are. And there's probably going to be some places that will need cleaned up. Maybe a little tack weld here and there and grind it down. And like on this one, I wasn't gonna weld that, fill that hole, because the tube will go behind it, and then I can just weld that to the tube on the inside. I'm really proud of this one. Definitely getting a lot better with the old MIG gun. Now that those are done, I will get to chopping these deals off. I already got my location for that. That's the next step. I'm probably just gonna do away with this. That's for the carrier bearing. I looked inside of it and it's pretty rusty and shit in there, so I'll probably just do the same thing, put some dowel rods up to it so I can get a location on the mounting tab, and then cut this bar out of there and make my own, something similar to that. I don't have a tubing bender, so it might be out of square steel, but either way it'll be better than that old rusty piece. So yeah, let's get these transmission cross member mounts cut off this deal. I'm not going to be reusing these. We're not going to save any of this, so I'm just going to use the old plasma cutter on this. And back to the cutoff wheel I go. That the factory undercoating with that plasma cutter is a nightmare. You can probably tell by how smoky it was in here. I opened the door, looked the worst. Opened the window, got all that shit out of here. But the plasma cutter is nice. It does the job. It's much faster than a cutoff wheel, but catches everything on fire, shoots sparks more than a cutoff wheel. So I got the big parts off. I'll go ahead and smooth the rest of it out. Alright, so I got the trans cross member mounts off, both sides all smoothed out. I trimmed it up, trimmed it away up through there, because the 2x4 is gonna go at least up to that line. I'm not sure yet how I'm gonna do that transition, but take it step by step, and might add a few more tacks to these, just so nothing moves. And yeah, next up I'll need to get a height for that deal and cut that deal out of there. I also added a support up here just to keep the front end from sagging. I still have all the control arms and all that stuff on it, obviously, so it's kind of heavy. I don't want it sagging when I go getting into that. So just a little reassurance on the front, and I'll go ahead and add some welds to the frame right there too. But yeah, let's get this cross member cut out. Man, I love this little truck. Yeah, she's rusty and it's got 320,000 miles on it, but watch this. Every time, baby. Cold, miserable day here in Indiana. You can tell winter's right around the corner. Got the cross member out in the back. I also got both frame rails trimmed out to where that's the back of the cab, and then the front of the cab's up there. I hit it with the bottom with some rust reformer, kind of where it was rusty, and then hit the rest with some weld-through primer. And I'm gonna go ahead and measure for the 2x4 quarter wall that I'm gonna sit inside the frame rails. There is a spot in the front where like this frame isn't all one piece. You can tell where it's like welded together from the factory. There's right up here in the front, there's a spot where it joins together, and then right back here in the back. And it just happens to be right where it starts to go up in both spots. You can see it starts to go up right there. So I'm gonna put a piece in the center. I'm gonna have to measure that deal, and then I'll do a piece up and a piece back. So yeah, I'm gonna get to measuring and get these frame rails, drop down in there and start fitting them up. Evolution blades for the win. Best chop saw blade I've ever used. It's like butter. That shit's 1/4 inch thick and it cut right through it. So I'm about to show you this, and it's gonna freak some people out. if you're a mini trucker, you know how thin the frame gets up towards the front of the new frame rails, where it goes up to like the control arms. But man, yeah, I mean, this looks bad, but don't worry. So I got that piece pretty well fitted. It's got a weird curve in it up there. Like up here, you can see where it curves in. And I cut like a section out here and I bent it, and I'm gonna do another one right there. That way I can straighten this back out, bring this out to the frame a little more, and then have that piece go up. But this deal will just go down to the frame right here. I'll weld that and then bend this back over, mark it, and then weld that, and then I'll probably fish plate it on the outside just to give it some extra strength, because it is a substantial amount thinner up there. I may even put an extra piece up in there if I can get in there to weld it. Add some strength back to it right there since it is so thin. But yeah, man, one step at a time. Nobody said this shit was easy. Nobody said this shit was quick. Definitely time consuming. I probably got 2 hours in that, just that little piece right there, and it's still not done. I'm just going step by step, side by side. I'm gonna get that side done and then bounce over to this side. That way it's fresh in my mind. I can just copy what I did on the other side. I did mark a piece right there, so I don't have to go through the whole figuring out the angle process again on this side when I get over here. But yeah, I'm probably gonna end this video here. It's getting a little long. I'm trying to keep these videos relatively short. They seem to do a little better, and it's not as boring if you're watching a 10-minute video versus a 40-minute video where a guy's just in his garage welding and fabricating stuff. If I was out doing burnouts or racing or dragging down the road or at a car show, truck show, it'd be a little more entertaining. But when I'm out here, there's really only so much I can show you. But yeah, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. And come back for the next one and continue to follow this build. I appreciate it. Later.